Money feels peaceful. You swipe a card. Trade flows across borders. Prices rise, fall, stabilize. The system seems normal. But here is the strange question. If debt destroys currencies, why hasn't the US dollar collapsed like others? Many countries printed money, many borrowed heavily, many lost control. Yet when crises hit the world, something unexpected happens. Instead of running away from the dollar, people run toward it. Not because it is perfect, not because it is fair, not because it is disciplined, but because behind the global money system stands something deeper than economics: security, force, power. The dollar is not just a currency. It is protected by the largest military system in history. And that connection did not appear suddenly. It was built slowly through wars, alliances, trade routes, and global strategy. To understand how money became tied to military power, we must go back to where this relationship began. The United States didn't build military power after wealth. From the start, military demand shaped industry, technology, and employment, tying national security directly to economic growth. Factories relied on defense contracts. Stable work and long-term planning created a unique environment where the state absorbed risk, while private firms captured profits safely. Aircraft, electronics, logistics, energy, all expanded under consistent military orders. Innovation thrived without immediate market pressure, allowing ambitious projects to succeed before consumer demand caught up. Entire regions grew around bases, contractors, and research centers. Cities, roads, and infrastructure developed alongside military spending, embedding defense into the very fabric of local economies. Recessions slowed general consumption, but defense spending persisted. This continuity stabilized employment and production, anchoring confidence in both jobs and industrial systems across the country. Military power didn't just project force abroad. It quietly shaped expectations at home, fusing security with growth and making Americans trust the system even during uncertain times. Defense spending differs from ordinary government outlays. It is long-term, predictable, politically shielded. Programs last decades, contracts renew automatically, and budgets quietly expand, creating consistent economic momentum nationwide. Capital flows toward defense-linked sectors. Risk is lower, continuity higher. Universities, startups, and research centers align innovation toward military funding, embedding security into economic strategy. Infrastructure follows bases and supply chains. Roads, ports, and logistics hubs grow alongside military installations, creating permanent economic hubs that attract private investment and employment. Communities rely on bases. Politicians defend spending to protect jobs. Defense becomes embedded in civilian life without appearing militarized, quietly sustaining employment and local economies simultaneously. Unlike social programs, defense is framed as security, not redistribution. That framing shields it from political cuts, providing long-term stability that reassures domestic and global markets alike. Continuous military spending strengthens the dollar indirectly. Investors trust systems backed by predictable state demand, contracts enforced, trade routes protected, and economic order quietly maintained nationwide. American military reaches far beyond its borders. Bases, fleets, and patrols form infrastructure that quietly safeguards trade, energy, and global stability without immediate notice. Open shipping lanes, secure energy flows, and affordable insurance allow commerce to function. Companies plan and investors price assets assuming continuity, backed by U.S. enforcement worldwide. During crises, capital often moves toward the dollar instead of away. Military presence deters sudden isolation, creating economic insurance that strengthens trust in the currency globally. Allies benefit from protection while reinforcing dollar usage. Arms sales, training, and interoperability bind partners to U.S. systems, cycling payments, maintenance, and upgrades back to American industry. Military power amplifies currency demand indirectly. Stability becomes a strategic product. Investors, governments, and businesses rely on U.S. enforcement even when unspoken, reinforcing trust quietly. This dominance is system-based, not conquest-driven. Presence, not occupation, sustains economic order. Military power and currency demand form a loop, protecting the dollar through global stability. Many countries try to copy American military spending. Few can. The difference isn't ambition. It's structure, costs, financing, and currency position reshape outcomes entirely. The United States borrows in its own currency. Others borrow in foreign money. When pressure rises, America spreads costs globally. Others absorb shocks domestically. America exports security. Others import it. That reversal matters. Defense spending becomes sustainable when demand for currency stays high and financing costs remain low. For most countries, military expansion strains budgets and weakens confidence. For the United States, credibility absorbs pressure, often strengthening institutional trust instead of eroding it. Defense contractors earn globally while costs stay domestic. Foreign revenue cushions deficits. The system lowers stress through scale, reach, and continuous external demand. Military spending resists cuts because entire regions depend on it. Not ideology, but dependency. Diversified networks turn defense into a self-reinforcing economic structure. Inside the United States, military economic power feels distant. Daily life rarely feels militarized. Prices shift quietly. Debates move elsewhere. Stability feels assumed most days. This invisibility is strength. Power works silently, shaping order without attention. Jobs exist, credit flows, trade continues, while deeper systems absorb shocks quietly nationally constantly. Abroad, American presence is obvious. Bases, fleets, alliances signal force. At home, it is normalized, distant, folded into everyday expectations of stability and continuity today. This separation creates psychological buffer. Citizens argue policy, not survival. The economy feels resilient even under strain, and perception itself stabilizes currency expectations confidence longer. Currencies fail when belief breaks suddenly. The American system preserves belief through continuity. Military power slows disruption, buying time for adjustment instead of immediate collapse. This advantage is structural, not moral. As global pressure rises, systems without buffers transmit stress directly to people, faster and harsher than institutions can absorb. Global military dominance brings obligation. Presence demands maintenance, upgrades, readiness. Allies depend on guarantees. Pullback risks destabilizing confidence. Markets expect protection to continue. Flexibility becomes limited. Military power becomes a fixed cost. Reducing commitments shakes decades of economic assumptions. Investors watch every signal. Retreat signals uncertainty. Expansion feels normal. Continuity traps the system. Defense budgets grow from inertia as much as strategy. Technological competition accelerates spending. Rivals don't need to win, they only force expenditure. Resources flow forward through time. Stability remains the benefit. Rigidity is the cost. Unlike smaller economies, the United States can sustain this longer. Currency absorbs strain. Institutions spread cost across generations. Obligation accumulates silently. Power stops asking whether to act. It asks whether it can afford not to. Every decision balances confidence, continuity, and cost quietly over decades. The invisible framework underpins daily life. Citizens rarely notice. Markets rarely panic. Yet behind stability lies a massive, enduring infrastructure of readiness, expectation, and institutional discipline. Military power and the dollar reinforce each other through behavior. Global reliance on security increases dollar usage. Dependence lowers borrowing costs, enabling sustained defense spending and reinforcing expectations quietly over decades. The loop is subtle but persistent. Foreign governments hold dollars because their systems rely on protection by American force. Private capital follows, attracted by stability, predictability, and continuity. Liquidity flows toward the dollar, supporting strength. Currency strength finances power. This circular structure is rare. Most countries face trade-offs between defense and financial stability. The United States postpones that trade-off. Inflation rises, debt grows, yet confidence remains longer than fundamentals suggest. Military credibility buys time, delaying shocks to economic expectations. Time allows adjustment. Adjustment preserves belief. Behavior aligns with expectations. People complain but comply. Markets criticize but participate. Trust is not in perfection, but in continuity over decades. Continuity is the true currency behind the dollar's endurance. Military power, financial stability, and institutional behavior create a loop few nations can replicate, quietly shaping global economics.